What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And, we heard all Maserati's not going to be sold. Then Reuters does their article, Maserati's for sale. And Motor One, no, they're not. We respectfully decline. It's not for sale. Well, now we know like a really good idea of if it's going to sell. And it's not just Maserati. I know people get so pissed every time that I mention that Chrysler's in this paradigm, in this group, but unfortunately, it is. Roll the intro. So what is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And look, people think like I take pleasure in talking about if Chrysler will sell. And remember, we have a very good inside track when it comes to stuff like this because we broke all the stuff when the Chinese companies from Chery and BYD first, Chery later, serious inquiries into buying Chrysler, Maserati, and the like. And, spy photos and everything else of them touring different facilities and showing up at different facilities. We've covered all that before. And people ask me, I saw it in the comments when I posted the Maserati video that they could be for sale today and talking about how the media is pissing on each other. Oh, they're not going to sell. They don't, Look, Reuters has been around for, I love this shit, right? I've heard people do videos and they call them Reuters. Nah, stop picking on people. Nah. Reuters. All right. So Reuters stated that their inside sources are confirming that Maserati could be for sale. Now, I talked about this already, that, the inside sources that I have were talking about Antonio Filosa, who I think officially gets on his job Monday. I think he officially becomes a CEO tomorrow, right? Not today, but tomorrow. Is going to combine a lot of the assets, the things that they build on between Alfa Romeo and Maserati, like sharing everything, okay? That could cut a lot of costs. It could make it feasible. When you have an automotive company that's losing, as Maserati did, almost $250 million last year, $200+ million just gone. And so far this year, your sales are down over 50%. It doesn't look good. And you have no new vehicles in the pipeline, right? It doesn't look good. Sometimes I get like the brand loyalty and all of that stuff, but sometimes you have to make a decision that's the best for the remaining brands and vehicles that you have in your outfit, right? I could see them selling Maserati and Alfa Romeo and maybe even Fiat. And it could be split between different companies. I could see maybe Fiat staying, Alfa going to the Chinese, and Maserati being sold to Ferrari. Now, I know you're going to say, well, wait a minute. Isn't Ferrari like part of... Yes. The same holding companies, Exor, that is a major investor into Stellantis, that owns a big majority stake in Stellantis, which is Exor, which is John Elkann's family, owns Ferrari. I could see Maserati going over there, them doing way more, limited production, and maybe upscaling Maserati to maybe compete with something like Bentley, right? Obviously, I don't think they'll keep the Levante. I think they changed the name of that SUV, but they come out with an SUV. They have the MC20, and it's a slightly cheaper Ferrari, basically. I could see them doing that. Alfa, I could see that going to the Chinese, whether it's BYD, Chery, somewhere else. And the Chinese they are slinging money right now. And for everyone that's like, oh, the Chinese were broke, they're not going to do it, you're retarded. You're absolutely dumb. The Chinese government, which I know you're going to say, well, they're broke too. Oh, sure they are. Sure they are. I can see the Chinese government backing that to push it, because having something like Alfa Romeo, especially if they keep those Alfa plants in Italy, gives China that foot in the door, which they already are in Europe as it is anyway, right? You got BYD already in Mexico. They're just looking for the foot in, right? And that's where the Chrysler tie-in comes in. And I know you guys are like, no, they won't do it. They're saying they're going to experiment with Chrysler. Yes, they might, if it stays. And unlike Maserati and Alfa, Chrysler is not costing Stellantis money. It's not weighing the company down to $250 million. Chrysler is actually doing pretty good just selling the minivan. You could imagine, I'll put it like this, Chrysler only selling the minivan, and if you took the Durango out of the picture at Dodge, could outsell Dodge. Crazy, isn't it? And that's because that minivan is in demand. But it's not anything for, it's a name. I understand what the name means. I understand what comes with the name, right? And I know you say, oh, Trump would never allow it, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be very, very frank, very honest with you here. He does not give a shit who owns the company as long as they build it here. If you think for a second that the Trump administration will stop a sale to BYD, for example, of Chrysler, and they agree to all the UAW stuff, the UAW contract, and they're going to build the vehicles here, Trump's not going to give a shit. Because Chrysler's not building anything in America right now. Ooh, zero. Nothing. They're not building crap here. They're building it in Canada. Trump will jump all over it. And no, those electric vehicles are not going to be 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000 like some of those introductory BYDs are. Add 10 grand to those, but they're still going to be cheaper. It still would literally hurt the rest of the market. That is the only, and this is why you're saying, well, why would Stellantis do that? Wouldn't it hurt? Yes, that's the only reason why I feel like Stellantis doesn't completely sell Chrysler to BYD. But I feel like they may give them a 49% interest in Chrysler, allowing them to bring their tech and their EVs here under a Stellantis moniker. And before you say, oh, they'll never do that, Leap Motor. Look at it. Tavares, which is an idiot in my estimation, did work out that deal and put that together to where they were building these Fiat-esque looking little Chinese EVs all over Europe and putting them out in Europe with a partnership with Leap Motor, which Stellantis, I guess, had the majority ownership, 51% of, and China had 49%. Now, I could see that flip. I don't know if they could have 51% here, or it would be like 49.5 or whatever, something enough where the U.S. government feels like, oh, they don't completely own the company, but it gets their foot in the door. It gets their products out here. It gets them starting to move. That's the most logical thing that I think will happen. I don't know if Maserati goes to they could go to the Chinese too, like Alfa could. Do I think they go to the Chinese first? I don't. I think Maserati could probably still be resurrected if they upscale the brand like a Bentley-esque brand. Stop trying to sell food stamp-ass Maserati Ghiblis. Go back to what that brand was. And, it's a little bit down from Ferrari, but still an upscale luxury brand. And stop selling garbage. Sell MC20s, sell your Quattroportes, sell all that crap. Don't sell Ghiblis. Don't sell Dodge Chargers with a V6 Ferrari engine. They just don't work, and they're crap. I mean, not like all Maseratis are reliable anyway, but you get what I'm saying. They could resurrect that brand if it went to Ferrari, and it wouldn't drag Ferrari down that much. They wouldn't have the production up insane like they're trying to do with Maserati now, and there's no demand for it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're asking, well, what would Chrysler do with the minivan if they sold the brand or sold the percentage of the name to BYD or Chery? Simple. It goes to Dodge and becomes the Caravan. Not hard. It's a nameplate change. Simple. In case you didn't know, we still have our Tesla Model S giveaway going on. You can jump into that by picking up any of this cool merch, like our hats, these hoodies, any of that other stuff. And I think there may possibly still be some 10X items in terms of entries up on the site. You can go check it out at tksgarage.com. Every dollar counts as one entry, but that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully I gave you enough of a deep dive into it, or gave you my opinion on where I think these can happen. Talking to the sources that I have at the highest points within the company, they haven't made any decisions yet from what the consulting company brought back. They're waiting for Antonio Filosa to take the helm and make a decision. Makes sense. Till next time, thank you very much for watching. And as always, stay petty, my friends.
For the longest time. Whoa. For the longest time.
Yo, Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet.